out of Sandy Fork, Delaware, he is the current reigning and defending Ring of Honor World Champion, Jay Briscoe.
Behold the genius Lanny Poffo, the world's smartest man.
Jarrett comes roaring in. Jerry, I think most of you wrestling fans know, is Eddie Marlin's son-in-law. Jerry, for the last 3 years, has been involved in the office, and he's not involved now.
And his opponent from New Zealand, weighing 248 pounds, Bushwhacker Butch.
And in becoming Loverboy, got the best damn public liability insurance anyone could ask for in Miami.
Well, what a cover, 2, 3, a kick, it's over.
It is a special ladies match. Introducing first from Reynolds, Georgia, Peggy Lea Leather.
Listen, Jim.
Yes, Iron Sheik, the great 1984 Turkey tournament. You're going to be part of it.
You know, I really don't care about...
And here he comes, Michael. Let me talk about Droz as he's walking down the aisle.
What is a half-man, half-beast? What do you call him, Mantaur? Mantaur, that's right.
Really, Salem? Scared? The AW champion is scared?
In his corner, from Wellington, New Zealand, weighing 224 pounds, Abe Jacobs.
Right now, let me talk to the exotic Adrian Street, and your title goes on the line.
Yes, against the Cowboy, the Wildcat.
Got something over here that I want you to have because you are the best in the country. Here's the chainsaw right here. You see that? This right here, this is just me, okay? Yeah, this is a version of me that I've never got to introduce to you guys before. This is just me being me, genuine me for the first time. Mike, I love you too.
The national heavyweight champion at 226 pounds from St. Petersburg, Florida, Brett Wayne.
Introducing the challenger. She's from Columbus, Georgia. Here is the very pretty Joyce Grable.
赤コーナービッグマウス180センチ105キロキドーオセペン
Unfortunately, a few big names lost in the past year. In January, Jay Briscoe passing away at the age of 38.
That's still terrifying. Yeah, it still breaks my heart.
Yeah, so when we're recording this now, I think we're a week or two removed from the Dynamite anniversary of his passing and only a few days removed from his actual birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he still seems surreal. One good news did come out, though, a year later on the Dynamite I just mentioned. Mark's there talking about it's been a year since the car crash and the doctors said my niece will never walk again. But they were wrong. And out comes all the kids on the stage.
That choked me up a lot.
Yes.
That choked me up so much. Yeah, it
was good to have some good news come out about the family after so long for that.
Honestly, though, like, you even just recapping that promo just, like, choked me up again. Like, that just was such a wonderful moment.
Yeah. February 2nd here, Lanny Poffo, the genius, passes away.
Yep. Throughout 2023, I watched a lot of 80s wrestling, and man, he was one of the most misused wrestlers during that time period because that dude could do stuff. Like, if given the chance, he could have been the Will Ospreay of the 80s. It's so weird, but he was so agile, did so much crazy flips for the 80s. And
Doesn't he hold a pinfall victory against Hulk Hogan, of all people, from the 80s?
Yes, he does. He holds a pinfall victory over Hogan. It was a fantastic seller, and it was also a fantastic promo. And there was a little period there during this primetime wrestling thing I've been binging, where actually the genius Lanny Poffo was on commentary for a bit. And he was very good. This wasn't New Japan Lanny Poffo. This was he was so good on commentary back then. I don't understand why it was only a couple of weeks. Like, they should have carried on with that.
I'll say the same about AEW with Matt Menard on commentary. Very underutilized he is. But the genius, was there ever a big singles match between him and his brother Macho Man in the WWF?
Not that I can recall. And specifically not as the genius either.
Okay. Fair enough. I thought you'd be the man to ask for that.
No. Yeah, it's a shame. They should have done something. He was under contract with WCW for like the entire 90s and never wrestled a match.
Isn't that most of WCW in the 90s? People under contracts and just going, I don't feel like coming in today. Hang up phone.
He was on a high six-figure a year contract and never wrestled.
That is a lot of money in the early to mid-90s. Ridiculous.
Yep.
Following that, well-known promoter Jerry Jarrett passes away at the age of 80. Wrestling fans will know him from Memphis Wrestling, and modern fans would know him as being one of the three founders of TNA Wrestling.
Exactly, and, guys that love wrestling podcasts have heard a million stories about Jerry Jarrett on Something to Wrestle With.
Yes. What was his big role in, I guess, the Memphis area with the King?
Well, basically, the King was the Hulk Hogan of Memphis, right? He was, I think, it doesn't count as world champion because it was technically just the Memphis Championship. Yeah. But he was like a fucking 40-something time champ or 30-something time champ, something like that. It's actually unreal. But also, Jerry Lawler was the Hulk Hogan of Memphis, and that made Jerry Jarrett the Vince of Memphis. That's just the best way to put it. He
brains.
He was the brains of the operation. He was the Paul Heyman before there was a Paul Heyman. He was the Vince before there was really a Vince. A lot of what we see in modern wrestling doesn't happen without Memphis in the 70s, without the fucking Tupelo concession stand brawl. That's the first real time that, I think that was Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler, and that's the first real time that, wrestlers started wrestling all over the arena and getting out into the concession stands and stuff like that. A lot of the more gimmicky sort of hardcore stuff does stem from Memphis wrestling during that time period. Because in that time period, it was rest holds, chain wrestling in the center of the ring, and Memphis branched out from that. Memphis were the first real wrestling company to throw a celebrity in the ring, Andy Kaufman. So a lot of what we see in modern wrestling doesn't happen without Jerry Jarrett.
Yes, very true. going down to April 2nd, the passing of New Zealand's own Bushwhacker Butch whilst he was over in the US for WrestleMania weekend.
Whoa, yay, whoa. I'm doing the hand thing, don't worry.
Run, Ketis, he'll lick you.
Yeah. No, Ketis is very much a Bushwhacker Butch of himself. Yeah. Yeah. Get up in Ketis's grill and he'll give you a wow, hey, mlum. A big old mlum.
But yeah, the Bushwhackers, most people familiar with their WWF run, their sort of fun-loving New Zealand characteristics, the Royal Rumble record spot for a number of years. But they were deathmatch icons on the independent circuits, NWA, I believe.
Yeah, and here we go again. Memphis as well, yeah. Memphis was ACW before ACW was even a twinkle of a thought. And the best way I can describe watching a lot of the old, they weren't the Bushwhackers, they were the sheep herders. The best way I can describe it is they're the Briscoes before the Briscoes, you know? They were hardcore dudes in camo, just beating the piss out of everyone. You know, missing teeth, looking scary. Like, you can picture it. And somehow, I think it's actually to Vince McMahon's credit, he was able to take such a tough, imposing-looking tag team and make them such, like, loved baby faces. To the point where, like, most wrestling fans wouldn't even be able to comprehend the fact that the Bushwhackers were big nasty heels.
Yeah, also true.
Yeah, so that's not just a credit to Vince, that's a credit to the Bushwhackers.
Yeah, complete change of character in their twilight years there. Butch had been the one of the two Bushwhackers who had been more sick, hadn't he?
Yeah. Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, Luke still looks good. I saw a photo not that long ago, and he's got his arms out and he's flexing, and he's got a huge bloody cannon. It's probably bigger than he ever had.
Very good. We go down to May 9th, the unfortunate passing of Australian wrestler Miami at the age of 36.
Oh, that still just breaks my heart. Most of my fondness of her career was her as essentially the Diesel to Loverboy Lockie Hendrix's Shawn Michaels.
The China to Triple H's DX.
Yeah, the Rhea to Loverboy's Dom.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. It's a combo that always works, and yeah, she was so good at that too.
Yeah, I noticed Riot City Wrestling have recently put up a bunch of classic RCW women's matches, and there's a few matches of Miami there. Hasn't really wrestled since her last match was the Jenny and Vera Memorial Cup against future WWE signee Casey Cassidy in 2014.
Oh wow, it's been that long, huh? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, against future Casey Cassidy, which would become Cassie Lee, a.k.a. Peyton Royce, a.k.a. Iconic. But it was nice to see all the Aussie wrestlers just post so many fond memories of Miami around this time as well, unfortunately. Yeah. Following that, May 17th, the passing of superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah, oh man. Superstar Billy Graham, I've said it enough times, was so ahead of his time. He was a body guy in wrestling where body guys weren't really a thing. He was Hollywood Hogan before there even was Hulk Hogan. Like, if he came along 10 years later, he would have been the biggest star in professional wrestling. in like a really popular era. But unfortunately, he came along in a transitional stage, and then by the time things started getting popular, he was winding down. Injuries had gotten the best of him. But man, if you ever get a chance to go watch an old Billy Graham promo, it's just captivating. It's incredible. He is just a character. I wish we got to see, like, even after he finished wrestling, I wish he was more involved in the industry.
Is there a particular reason why he chose to step away?
He did burn a few bridges.
Fair enough. Yeah,
he was
that
always
sort of does it.
He was always outspoken. He did say some controversial stuff on social media before he passed, but that was just the old school 80s mentality, 70s mentality of, oh yeah, these wrestlers should start doing steroids. I remember him in particular being like, Kofi Kingston needs to do steroids. Do you remember that?
Yes. Was this around the time Kofi was going for or just won the title?
Yeah. He's like, look at those pecs. He needs to do steroids.
He needs to get on the juice, brother.
I mean, I've always said I would like my wrestlers to be larger than life characters. So it's not that I disagree with him. And, you know, like, what is the harm in PEDs in a scripted sport? I mean, besides the long-term effects, obviously that's the issue. But like, come on, put a bit of mass on. I do agree with him in that sense. I don't agree with the steroid part. And he's like, yeah, I did steroids and I was one of the biggest stars of my time. Yep, cool. Cool. But superstar Billy Graham, the Tower of Power, like his promos, too sweet to be sour. That shit was stolen by Macho Man.
And Dusty.
Yeah, the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. Yeah, that's all stolen by Dusty. It's stolen by Macho Man. His look was stolen by Hogan. His look was stolen by Scott Steiner at one point.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Look at the goatee that Billy Graham had at one point. Look at the goatee Scott Steiner had. I don't know if you recall when Scott Steiner first turned heel and joined the NWO. Do you remember what he was called before he was called Big Papa Pump?
No.
They called him Superstar Scott Steiner.
I could see it working, but just in hindsight, it doesn't have the same ring.
No. Like, they must have been like, we need an alliteration. Superstar Scott Steiner. Get those triple S. But,
Triple H. Following that was May 22nd, the passing of Peggy Lea Leather. Are you familiar with this women's wrestler at all?
Not that familiar. Unfortunately, not that familiar.
Yeah, started wrestling in the 80s, retired around 2013. Brief runs in the NWA, the AWA, WWF. She teamed with Wendy Richter to challenge for the WWF Women's Title. Championship accomplishments here is she was NWA Women's World Champ one time and a bunch of regional championships.
Yep.
Now, I may be getting my families confused. This isn't the lady wrestler who's related to Jake the Snake, is it?
No.
Who's that?
That was Rockin' Robin.
Okay, I'm getting my 80s women's wrestlers confused.
Yeah.
Okay, next off the memorial list we have here is 36-year-old from Western Australia, Roxy Ryot. Another Aussie wrestler sadly passing away to an illness way too young.
Yeah, absolutely devastating.
I'm just trying to see. She last wrestled in 2019, I guess, with things shutting down due to the pandemic, and then hadn't quite came back after the pandemic after getting sick. But yeah, 77 match career, mostly over in Perth. Companies like SWA, Southern Hemisphere Wrestling as an Alliance Association, WPW. Championship, she was AWA No Limits champion and the AAW No Limits champion and AAW Women's champion. They are holding, it does look like it's going to come back this year, an annual Roxy Ryot memorial event, so it does look like it will be yearly. I'm sorry I can't really add much more onto Roxy Ryot, but there is a number of write-ups. There's one, I believe, Wrestle Radio Australia did. There's one from PW Down Under. If I do have the links, I'll share those as well.
Yeah.
Following that, the passing on June 7th of the Iron Sheik.
I mean, when it comes to characters in wrestling, there's no bigger than Sheiky Baby.
Yeah. The world champion. Break the back.
A world champion. I break your back. I make you humble.
You gotta be part of the turkey tournament. This turkey, he looks like the Hulk Hogan. I stayed out. Spits on the turkey.
All right, number one, USA Hawk 2.
Now, Sheik competed in the Olympics, did he?
Yes.
Did he win gold?
I mean, he seems to think he did. And you do not question the legend.
Yes. Most, I guess, I say modern fans, but it's not even that. It's like our age would know him from the WrestleMania 15 Battle Royale, was it?
17, yeah. Where he wasn't medically allowed to take a bump, so they just let him win the whole thing.
So good. I guess also Heroes of Wrestling.
And I mean, like, honestly, at this point, he's most famously remembered for his outrageous shoot interviews, his insane Twitter account, which still, like, occasionally posts stuff just as, like, a little reminder. And I love it. Yeah, fuck yeah. Like, he was a regular on Howard Stern.
How did that come about, of all things?
I think he just became that viral on the early days of YouTube and all that, yeah, Howard Stern just, like, brought him in for a couple of interviews to see how that'd go, and it went outrageous, so he kept bringing him back.
Very good. The Iron Sheik saying, fucking bullshit.
Fucking bullshit.
Various compilations of that going around into, it's like, duh, 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 duh.
Well, that's his...
Duh.
That's his theme song on Fugs.
That's where I've heard it.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yes. Sheiky Baby, gone but not forgotten. After that was the passing of Droz, wrestler in the WWF in the mid-90s, part of the new Legion of Doom.
I mean, he was, when I was going through and watching old Attitude Era stuff early last year, the amount of untapped potential that dude had. He was so athletic. He had a great look, particularly at that time. Like, for a wrestler to be covered in tattoos during that era, it wasn't common. And he was built well. He could move well. His promos weren't half bad. And yeah, I do often wonder, like, what happens if he doesn't get that career-ending, life-altering injury? Because I think he would have been on the come-up. Yeah. And most famously, he's remembered for Beyond the Mat. Let's be real, though.
He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. Yeah. It wasn't Beyond the Mat following around because he only just started with the company as a rookie?
Yes. Yeah, that's why they were following him around. And then by the end of it, they had to, like, put in a note that, like, about his injury and all that, which was devastating, obviously. Yeah, at the end of it, there was, like, a little disclaimer about his injury and all that. Yeah, fucking so much untapped potential. Like I said, I always wonder, what if? What if?
Have you ever gone back and watched one of his NFL games?
No, I haven't.
They do
I've seen clips. And he literally did throw up during the breaks.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. I mean, God. Was he still part of New Legion of Doom when he was injured?
When he got hurt, no.
Yeah.
No. At that point, he had turned heel, done the push Hawk off the Titantron thing.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he had moved on to other feuds. Yeah, and not only was that a life-altering, career-altering, changing injury for Droz, that, in my opinion, D'Lo Brown never recovered from.
Yeah. I know this is off topic, but I recently saw the clip going around again of Sawyer talking to Renee Paquette, saying, when I was cleared by the doctors, the first person I rang, like outside my family, was Mercedes, was Sasha Banks, to let her know, hey, it's not your fault. Accidents happen, but I want you to be one of the first to know I've been cleared to wrestle again.
Yeah.
Because, that shit would weigh on your mind. And you're right, D'Lo sort of never really recovered from that, even though it was just an accident.
Yeah, well, around the time that happened, he had just had an IC title run. He had just been the Euro Continental Champion. He never really got up to that sort of status again after that.
Yeah. Following that was July 11th, the passing of Mantaur.
One of the, one of the go-to examples of the characters in the mid-90s, but man, he had a good look, honestly. Minus the stupid fucking bull's head, it was a good look.
Yeah. Anything else to really say about the guy?
He was a bit of a journeyman. He travelled all over the joint, but he had a quick little run as what the fuck was it called? Like Bull Mastino or something in 96 as Goldust's bodyguard for like 2 episodes of Raw.
It says here Bruiser Mastino.
Bruiser Mastino, that's it. And they never really found his niche again, but he could work. I'll give you that. He could work.
He just didn't have the right look for him to stand out.
I wouldn't even say he didn't have the right look. He just didn't have the right gimmick.
Yeah. After that was the passing, I have noted here, of Salem, Australian wrestler, born 1972, passed away at the age of 51, most well known for his time in Sydney-based federations like the AWF, which was established in 99, and AWA, which is established around the same time.
Yeah.
Recently wrestled again, I believe it was last year or the year before, in a championship match, and then retired from in-ring competition. didn't really hear much about his passing other than, it was just sort of very sudden. So that's no good as well.
Yeah. Yeah, heartbreaking.
Following that, we have on here career journeyman Abe Jacobs from New Zealand. Born 1928, passed away August 2023.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with him, but yeah, it's never good.
Yeah, I had a really, really long career. Debuted in 58, retired in 81, so sort of retiring just at the start of Alex's interest in wrestling.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Spent a bit of time in Capital Sports for Vince Sr. as well as Jim Crockett Promotions. Of his notable championship accomplishments is NWA North American Champion one time and a bunch of the NWA territories, was inducted into the Lou Fez George Tarragos Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2008.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a huge accomplishment.
And he's also the innovator of the Kiwi leg roll. The Kiwi roll.
Right.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of this before.
No.
Little footage exists of Jacobs performing the move. It has been described as a modified figure four leg lock in which he grabs the opponent's legs, like the set hold, and rolls the man around the mat in an almost circular motion, putting pressure across the ankles, causing the opponent to submit.
Oh, yeah, I know what's going on. Yeah. Okay, cool. I didn't realize that was him. Cool.
Okay, so Alex has seen this move performed before. I have not.
Yeah, just think of like someone, you know, when they do the thing to turn over the figure four.
Yeah.
Just think of that, except just constantly rolling.
Ooh, okay. Yep. Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, it would.
Next on our list of in memorial is exotic Adrian Street from Wales over in the UK. Alex.
One of my favourites. Still got a signed wrestling figure from him, personally signed.
Can you share the story with the humans on how that came about?
Oh, yeah. I was like on eBay one day and I was like, so my introduction to Adrian Street was a movie that we have reviewed, Grunt, the wrestling movie, if you recall. An absolutely weird fucking movie, but one of the standouts of that entire movie was exotic Adrian Street and his wife Linda. And it was Gold Dust before Gold Dust. It was, just that sort of flamboyant thing that used to make people uncomfortable back then. Probably doesn't work in today's day and age. But I was just on eBay looking for wrestling figures, searched up signed wrestling figures, and came across a eBay user that was simply called Exotic Adrian Street. And he had his own little eBay shop, and he had a whole heap of his own custom-made wrestling figures of himself, and he would sign the box and whatever. And it came with this smaller sort of wrestling figure, and it came in a little box, and on the back of it, it has autographs from him and his wife Linda, and then it came with like a little thank you note and talking about how times were tough for him and he appreciates all the support he gets from his fans and blah, blah, blah. As one of the things I'll never sell, because it was personally sent by him. It was personally boxed and packaged by him. Like the box it's in, he designed and made himself. So it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, Yeah, don't ever get rid of that, my man. Yeah, like you mentioned, Goldust before Goldust says that the humans would have heard in the opening clip package here for the immemorial section. Does sound very much like Goldust before Goldust, just in his cadence and his presentation.
Yeah, he used to have his own little talk show. WWE tried to replicate Adrian Street with a wrestler called Adorable Adrian Adonis.
Was that the one who had the flower shop?
Yep.
Yep.
But they sort of did a different route with him where it was like this guy that dresses up as a very feminine guy. Like he dressed up very feminine, would wear dresses, all that sort of stuff, wore makeup, and then he'd talk like this, like, "Hey, yeah, what's going on?" But it's a dude in a dress, so like it's kind of different. But the fact that they call that it was like Adorable Adrian and Exotic Adrian, like, yeah, come on, we know what you were trying to do there. And Adrian Street was a 5'10", 5'11" wrestler in a time of wrestlers that weren't 5 foot, you know, and he was as tough as it came. WWE a while ago did a documentary on Exotic Adrian Street, and you've got to watch it. It's incredible. Just a hardworking miner. Came from a miner town. His dad was a miner, all that sort of stuff, and then he goes off and follows his dreams. And yeah, along the process, meets the love of his life, Linda, and it's a very, very cool story. And one of the innovators of chain wrestling and one of the innovators of gimmicks. Like, yeah, like he took what Gorgeous George had done in the early days of wrestling and he took it to the next level.
Very true. Then two sad passings back to back. First of all, August 23rd, Terry Funk passes away.
Dare I say, one of the greatest of all time?
Yes.
Yeah, like one of the great traveling world champions of his era. But that's not what we know him for. We know him for the outlandish promos. We know him for the crazy over-the-top matches. We know him for middle-aged and crazy. Terry Funk is one of the most iconic characters in wrestling.
Yeah, from his time in ECW, being unselfish when others were selfish, to going to WCW, to returning to the WWF as Chainsaw Charlie.
Yeah.
I completely forget about his time in WCW, but it's a very, very brief stint.
That was, believe it or not, that's probably like the most fondness I have of him from my days as a child watching wrestling, is his WCW run. So fucking stupid, but like... Yeah, just him fucking putting a raw chicken on his fist and and punching Dustin Rhodes in the head with it. Like, come on.
The time he went to TNA. More indie stuff. Back to WWE. His last appearance before Dean Ambrose's match with Brock Lesnar, presenting him with the chainsaw.
The best. That promo is so fucking good, as you guys will have heard in the Spicy.
Yes. Of course, Beyond the Mat. What other movies is he in?
What's the Sylvester Stallone one? Paradise Alley. He's in Over the Top, obviously, one of my favorites. He's in Roadhouse, I think someone said. I haven't actually watched Roadhouse, so yeah, I think he's in that. Or he would, he's iconic, man. He's just iconic. Come on, it's my last match. It's my last match. Come on,
Dennis. You're gonna be there.
You gotta be there. It's my last match. I got the world champion. It's the last match.
Go on.
And I'll just never forget the promos he used to cut, like, your mother's a whore.
Yes, indeed. So it's interesting to look back here and see, like, not only the championships, but, like, some of the awards or honors he's been given. Like, of course, the Iron Mike Mazowski Award from the Cauliflower Alley Club in 2005. I didn't realize this until just looking at it. From Extreme Championship Wrestling, he got a Lifetime Achievement Award in 1997.
That was given to him at that retirement show that he got given. That he had the match against Brett. Before the match, or no, it was after the match. They presented him the Lifetime Achievement and ECW title belt.
Of course, inducted into the 2300 Arena Hardcore Hall of Fame in 2005.
I mean, he almost burned that place down to the ground several times, literally. And I don't mean figuratively, I mean literally.
How Paul Heyman got away with some of the stuff in that arena in today's landscape is beyond me.
He didn't get away with a lot of it in that landscape. So imagine in this landscape.
I completely forgot about this, but Juggalo Championship Wrestling heavyweight champion one time.
Oh, of course he was. Yeah, of course he was.
Yeah.
Honestly shocked he never got a TNA title run. Honestly shocked he never stuck around TNA to get a title run there, because that place, like, screams Terry Funk. In the early 2000s, like the NWA TNA era, that would have been perfect for Terry to have a quick little NWA title run.
And no, I think he's only the one-time NWA champion, because he won it in that match before in Florida, because he's against Jack Briscoe and he's replacing his brother. Yeah. And then in the post-match interview, he's all upset that the rematch isn't in Amarillo, Texas. I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think the best way to describe Terry Funk, and I think we talked about this at the time of his passing, the best way to describe him, he's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler.
Indeed.
He is the wrestler that all wrestlers at the top of their game look up to. They look at the way he punches, the way he sells, the way he talks during promos, the things he says during promos, his intensity walking to the ring, his facial expressions, everything. There's not a thing that dude didn't do right. The only thing that was against him was maybe his look was a bit off. But that look fucking served him well.
Indeed. The day after the very sad news of the passing of Bray Wyatt, and I remember you, we talked about this on the air the same time we talked about Terry Funk's passing, and you said, I thought Triple H's Twitter was hacked because he said, Hall of Famer Mike Rotunda has given me the sad news, and you said, hang on, Mike Rotunda's not in the Hall of Fame, this has got to be fake.
Yeah. I do wonder if that was like a Freudian slip and something they have in the works. I do often think about that. Like, did he accidentally spoil that or what? Like, is Mike Rotunda going in the Hall of Fame this year? I'm not opposed to it, by the way.
Yeah.
Chuck him in the Fugs pool. I'll have IRS.
You can have Honky Tonk Man. How's that?
That'd be something fresh.
But
yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
Oh, Bray. Oh man, I feel like we were about to get the best version of Bray. I feel like we're on the precipice of it. We saw signs of it when he returned in 2022. That promo that you'll hear in the Spicy, where he just says is being a version of himself that he hasn't let everyone see yet, and I feel like we're about to tap into something special, and that breaks my heart. But the thing that breaks my heart the most is how sudden and just out of nowhere this was. It went from like, oh yeah, Bray Wyatt's gonna wrestle him WrestleMania to all this mystery about his health, and it's like, oh, okay, or is he being punished? What's going on here? And then all of a sudden he's gone. It's still hard to digest to this day.
Yeah, it's hard to think that 2 of the 3 founding members of the Wyatt family are now gone.
Yeah. But goddamn, there's some matches going on up in heaven, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We can finally have Bray and Jay Briscoe.
Can someone book upstairs there? Can someone book Bruiser Brody and Vader versus Harper and Wyatt? Thank you. Thank you, please. Thank you, and please.
Yes. Bray had so much untapped potential, and it felt like Triple H had hired him back, and we were getting somewhere, and then he was taken off WrestleMania, and then it was like the sad thing is the rumors were he's clear to come back for SummerSlam or Survivor Series, whichever.
It was SummerSlam.
Yeah, and then like the same week it was like, no, he's passed.
Yeah, it was very, very shocking. Yeah, I think the best way to describe Bray Wyatt is he was this generation's Jake Roberts. I've been thinking about that. He was our generation's Jake Roberts. Yeah, he got a title run or whatever, unlike Jake, but like he was the guy that when he spoke, you listened. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes when he spoke, it was a little all over the shop. But when it was fucking good, you never forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that image of the start of that show with the 10-bell salute and Harper. No, not Harper. My apologies. Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman are on the front center of the stage.
Yeah.
And just realised 2 of their best friends are gone in the space of 3 years. It just hits you, yeah.
It hurts. It hurts. It's like I've always said, like Warwick Thompson and I, listener of the show, Warwick Thompson and I, we used to, when NXT was like the rookie thing, we used to watch that together every week for some fucking reason. I don't fucking know. I guess we had nothing better to do. But so like each season we would like pick a rookie and be like, yeah, that's our boy. I picked Bray Wyatt. I picked Husky Harris. That's my boy. I mean, his pro was Cody, so I was always going to pick him.
Who was Warwick's pick that season?
Oh, hang on. Let me have a look at season 2 just to remember. I think he might have been real lame and picked the most obvious one. It was season 2, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, NXT season 2, roster. Who was in it? Oh, yeah, he loved himself some Percy Watson, didn't you, Warwick?
Whatever happened to Percy?
Oh, yeah. But I think Warwick was a bit team Percy. He was a bit team Alex Riley, but I was like, I was very team Husky Harris, and Michael McGillicuddy was my second because anyone that is related to Mr. Perfect has to be good, right? Damn it.
Yeah. He was. He just never got the booking he deserved. He got that IC title push around Father's Day, and that was it.
But Warwick and I would always agree on our love for Eli Cottonwood. If you recall him, he was like 7 foot tall, and he cut this horrible promo about how he doesn't have a mustache, but he has the best mustache.
No mustache is the best mustache, apparently. Oh, yeah. Boy. From there, just a few more here of note. Brett Wayne, a.k.a. Brett Sawyer, passing away at the age of 63. Numerous time champion across the NWA, most notable being a national heavyweight champion out of the Georgia promotion once, which today's lineage goes into the current national heavyweight champion that is still around today.
Who holds that at the moment?
Thrill Billy.
Oh yeah, no, he's good. We love Thrill Billy.
Yeah, it's still your boy Thrill Billy. Also of note, Joyce Grable, longtime tag team partner of Wendy Richter, held the NWA United States Women's Championship once, and the NWA Women's Tag Team Championship 6 times, 3 with Richter and 3 with Vicky Williams. Is also in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2013, not the WWE Hall of Fame, and a few others. Got inducted into the Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2024 with Wendy Richter. Or will be inducted, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Class of 2024. But yeah, that's another discussion we can have in a moment. Last notable one here is Osamu, which I'm probably mispronouncing, my apologies, Kido, which Alex should be able to see on the screen.
Osamu Kido, yeah, I'm not that familiar with him, but I have seen his face before. That's interesting.
So he's like one of the people who helped Inoki form New Japan Pro Wrestling, sort of like one of the original guys on the roster. Was IWGP Tag Team Champion, still the same current belt, one time with Miyada, Akira Miyada, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Retired from wrestling in 2010. So yeah, I thought it was just worth, even though we're both not really that familiar with him, worth mentioning one of the sort of behind the scenes founders or helpers of New Japan getting up off the ground with Inoki. And that sort of wraps up our in memorial section there, humans. We're just going to play a brief clip here from Miami talking about her time with Hardway Inc., and then we'll get into likely unlikelies.
Everyone in Hardway Inc. has earned their spot. All of us have had to fight our way to get to where we are today. So you see, that's why we're going to destroy what you have. You don't deserve it, and you've done nothing to earn it. Trust me, you've never seen or encountered anything like us before. You may think you're united, you may think you have what it takes, but you can be sure of one thing: you'll all be tested.